Hey St. Lucia, good morning everybody. I'm giving you yet another reason to wake up and be happy today, so thank you for joining us on this morning. Of course, you know I'm Sheila Mendes, your host, and you may be wondering who is our special guest today. Right now, I have with me Jonathan, and he is St. Lucian, and he doesn't live home though, but he's definitely representing and doing some amazing things abroad. So first of all, Jonathan, I'd like to welcome you to this
Thank
morning.
you for having me, Sheila.
Good. And you're part of the family. Everybody who takes this seat becomes part of our family here at DBS and this morning. So we're going to show you some love. But St. Lucia, he is an artist. And we're going to generalize it because there's so many different dynamics that makes up, I should say, who he is. So we're going to break it down. We're going to get to learn more about him. And you'll get to know about what exactly he's doing. So Jonathan, first of all, tell us a little bit about you as an artist, because you say artist, but you do poetry, art, graphic arts as well, graphic design. So, how did you get into this?
Well, I discovered that I wanted to be an artist probably around 5 years ago. It really came out of circumstances of me not knowing exactly what I wanted to do. Even though I was actually pursuing a career in urban planning, I was studying at the time. And something clicked in me. I was always drawn to visualization and design and that aspect of expression. And so I just decided to delve into it after school. I didn't have a job, so I had to find something to do in the meantime. So I did that for a while. It started with graphic design and a bit of photography. At the time, my friends had a bow tie company, so they wanted a photographer. I said, "Oh, I just bought a camera, so I'll just do that with you guys." And it was I found it interesting, and then I kind of started to try to find my own space. So it's been very experimental for me. My art has been driven by circumstance, what's happening around me. So I kind of got into the graphic design, started doing the photography, and that kind of blossomed into other things. I've done clothing, I've done fine art, and I'm doing poetry right now. So it's all interlinked, all connected, but all part of one expression of self.
Now, going into some of your graphics arts, because on your Instagram page, very good. My favorite cousin actually helped me stumble across Jonathan's work, and I was just blown away. So if you guys go on his Instagram page, which is Boy and Sheep, right?
Yes, at Boy and Sheep.
Right.
Boy and Sheep.
Yes. So if you go check that out, you will see some very different but funky, graphic design, because I know you're talking about apparel as well.
Yeah.
When I see it, I see 80s, and still there's this difference, but the colors, everything is so vivid, and then still you use real persons. What I'm amazed is that you take a photo and then you animate it, you know, and it's amazing. So tell us about that work that you've been doing.
Okay, so I have a general interest in people's stories, just as you do, except that I do it a little differently. For me, I did a series on a bunch of my friends, people that I know, just interviewing them. Not as sophisticated as your interview process.
So I'm the one having you in the hot seat now. So roles reversed today.
Yes.
Good.
So I would interview them, just a general way to get to know them, like you're doing right now, and try to have a conversation that maybe I never had with them before. And essentially, I would take that, record it, and use that as inspiration for my pieces. I'll take photos of them, and usually for the photos, I tell them, basically, give me a pose that you think would encapsulate yourself in one photo, which is usually like an interesting take, what people would do to say, oh, this is what I think, how I represent myself.
Right.
And within that, I just, upload it and illustrate over it, and I try to find things about that photo that interests me and bring it out and use what I've learned about them to translate into what I think the aura is, in a sense, because it's also, I'm not about realism. I do enjoy realism as an art form, and I really like that, but for me, it's always about that interpretation, that taking that creative leeway and saying, this is what I see in you.
All right. So for anybody watching right now, of course, who want to follow you, just let them know the different ways they can follow you, whether it's on social media, etc.
Oh, sure. I have a website, boyandsheep.studio. where I have a portfolio of my work. It's an ever-evolving site, so I'm going to be introducing more content as we go along, including some of my poetry. And on Instagram, Boy and Sheep, that's my handle. On Twitter, Facebook. So, yeah, you'll find me on there. And if you want to email me, info@boyandsheep.com. Any questions regarding portraits or my work in general or whatever the case might be, saying hi, you can reach me that way.
Great, because you do work with, the corporate sector as well, in terms of your services, right?
Yeah. If anyone wants to do commissions, long as it's within a schedule, if I'm not doing anything, I'll accept them. I'll let them know if there's time. But my process, if it's portraits of themselves, it's either like in person or they could send a photo, and I could work from there. And if they want to translate it to a fine art as well, which is what I do. I use stencils and a lot of found materials in my work. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking for.
All right. Well, St. Lucia, you heard it straight. So here we have Jonathan, one of our very own. And again, though he's not home, he's definitely leaving a mark. And this is. I'll call him from now on our guy with the visual eye. All right. So remember that. Go check him out. Show him some love. If you have some free time right now, just go check him out on his social media as well. And of course, we'll keep you updated on anything else that he's doing. Next time he's back home, we'll do another interview. That way you can see how much more he's evolved and where he's at and what he's offering then.
Yeah.
So Jonathan, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
See,
Appreciate
wasn't that
it.
nerve-wracking? All right, guys. So we're sending you plenty love this morning, and we'll be right back. Hey St. Lucia, good morning family. Thank you so much for coming back. This morning is back on and I am Chayla Mendez, your host. Now my guest today, I don't think she needs an introduction because she's part of the family. And so we have Shani Victorine here with us. And so you know her for Soca Size, but guess what? It is not whining time because she's here in another capacity because she's also a secondary school teacher.
That's right.
All right, so Shani, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Chayla.
And it's such a pleasure to have you here. And today, of course, we're going to talk about something in a different light.
Yes.
So there is something noteworthy, something special that's going to be happening this Thursday.
Yes.
And it's a performance I think that the public, you all as well as part of the family, should not miss. But Shani is part of the crew and the persons behind putting this together, so she's going to give us more information on that.
All right, so the secondary school students, a portion of the secondary school students who are doing theater arts are putting on a production this Thursday at 1 p.m. at the CSA Center. There's no admission fee, but we're asking persons to come in, see what they're putting on, and to make a donation. The theme for the production is cultural heritage, so obviously it's cultural based. It has to do with the CSEC syllabus and that gathering that information on playmaking, and they're putting their skills and what they have learned to the test on stage for the public to see.
Great. And of course, as she said, I need to reiterate that it is free. So anybody who is available at that time, make sure you come down and support these kids because they are working so hard for it.
Yes.
Now, the cultural heritage performance that's going to be happening on Thursday is as a result of a workshop that has been currently going on for about 2 weeks almost, right?
Yes.
So tell us more about that workshop.
Okay, so the Ministry of Education in the Theatre Arts Department has organized a 2-week workshop for secondary school teachers, secondary and primary school teachers, and for the secondary school students. The students are in forms 3 and 4 from various schools, and the teachers are focusing on stage and production management, cultural management, and also text analysis. Okay. So all of these things are tools that we as teachers will need for the coming school year, the coming academic year, to help share that knowledge and how to share that knowledge with our students. And the students in the workshop, they're looking at playmaking, as I said earlier, and the cultural heritage aspect of it.
Great. Now, from your perspective, being a teacher, too often we focus on just the academics. So, and of course, you're definitely involved in the arts. If you don't know, besides Soca Size, but that could have probably given you a hint that she has a dance background. So, from your perspective, being a dancer, being involved in the arts, and now being a teacher. How do you see the arts, not just theater arts, but the arts as well, playing a role and the importance with a school curriculum?
It is very important, and I think a lot of persons who don't know enough about the arts don't give it enough credit. You can use the arts, especially theater arts, drama, dance, to teach any curriculum. So I also teach science, and my students can tell you there is hardly ever a dull moment in the class because I'm moving around, I'm giving them scenarios, I'm asking them to dance things out, to use their body for movement, for them to better understand things, for them to visualize and understand different concepts. Language, I've heard a lot of the language teachers at the workshop say that they use their theater arts techniques to teach language. It's one of those things where a lot of our students are not oratory. They don't learn just by hearing things. They don't learn from chalk and talk, as they say. So the activities, some of the simple activities that you think, oh, how is a child supposed to learn from this? They do pick it up. They do understand, and it makes learning fun. Nobody likes a boring teacher. Nobody likes a boring class. So having the activities and the exercises that you learn from theater arts as a teacher can be transferred to your different subject areas. And from the student perspective, doing theater arts gives them more confidence. Something as simple as presenting in front of the class. A lot of students are shy. They get so nervous. They get tongue-tied, and they don't know how to stand and do their presentation. Theater arts helps them to be more confident, to help them be comfortable in their own skin, to be themselves and understand who they are and how they are. And it just helps them to present themselves in a better light. So theater arts is definitely, the arts, being expressive, it's definitely a good thing for students to be involved with.
Great. Now, of course, you can still see her dance influence because you were talking, and if our viewers were not engaged, and I don't know what was, because I was almost hypnotized by your movements as well and listening to every single word. But that's just a perfect, real example of how, again, the arts can be fused, with academics.
Yes.
And I just think we need to reach the point where we stop separating the two.
Exactly.
Because they can come and work hand in hand.
Beautifully.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. Now, for the kids, though, how's the reception been from them in engaging in the workshop?
While the information is being presented to them, we the teachers are observing them, and we think, oh, are they really paying attention or listening, or they're awfully quiet or so forth. They don't seem to be engaged. But as they took in the information, they were like little sponges. They soaked in everything. And when Kentilia put them to work and said, this is your task, we were blown away. We've just seen the tip of the iceberg of what they're going to do on Thursday. And I know a lot of the teachers sat there like, wow. We were impressed. We were so pleased by what we saw. And that was not even the entire piece. So we can only imagine on Thursday that they are going to blow everybody's socks off. So they definitely are taking advantage of the workshop. They are enjoying it. They are using that information, and they are definitely improving.
Great. Now, with the workshop, is it just one particular school, or is it
No,
mixed?
various schools. So it's secondary school students. It's a small pinch of them, but from different secondary schools in the island. Yeah.
Great. Now, another thing to note with that is look at how, because I was just under the assumption, that's why they always say it's not good to assume
No.
that it was just one school. And I was also thinking maybe it's the school you teach at. But it's good to see that it's a mix, because then, of course, if they're able to come together from different schools, some people may not have even known each other, and put together this performance, the cultural heritage. That also speaks a lot. Yet another skill that they can learn.
Right.
Being a team player.
Exactly.
So, hey, don't knock the arts, don't separate academics, they're both important, so let us fuse it. And Shani, of course, just remind St. Lucia and our This Morning family, venue, date, and time for that performance, because you're not supposed to miss it on Thursday.
Okay, so it's Thursday the 20th of July at 1 p.m. at the CSA Center in Sans Souci.
All right, so perfect. So Shani, I'd like to thank you very much for coming here and
Thank you
giving
so
us
much for
some
having
insights
me.
on that. You know, when good things are happening, we need to make sure it doesn't stay low key.
Yes.
So now you are in the know, and thank you again for being here. And we're gonna be there on Thursday to catch some of the action. Now, don't just rely on me to bring it to you. I'm also gonna look forward to meeting some of you there. So let's come out and support and be part of it. And we'll see you soon.